Good afternoon, everyone. Mike and Corey here today, the end of a very good week in the markets, which I will cover. I'm going to talk a little bit about, not as much about the inauguration, but like what's come out of it and the optimism that we're seeing in the market and where that's playing out. And Corey's going to talk about some of the things that are happening with the dollar. And you're just like, well, I got dollars in my wallet. Well, it's really, if you ever been to Canada, back when I used to exchange currency and you're like, you get so much for your dollar. I'm going to talk a little bit about how that works, or, as far as changes
Hey,
in
I
that.
think they say, Mike, we need to all schedule Canadian vacations right now. Did you hear that?
Is the dollar strong and the Canadian dollar's weak, or no, the
Yeah,
loony,
I
it's the loony and the toonie. I remember I'm having flashbacks from when I lived in Michigan. The loony and the toonie are the $1 and the $2. I think in Canada. Is that
hmm.
But is that really a country? I thought that was like our 51st state. I don't know. That's what I heard
I think
Governor
it's
Trudeau.
TBD,
I thought
TBD.
I thought Governor Trudeau was going to bring that one in. I don't want to create any controversy with our Canadian followers here. So just ignore that. You are an independent country. You are, but you're only bordered by us. Um, but before we get started, this is a financial education presentation. You must do your own due diligence on anything you hear in this presentation. More disclaimer information can be found on ankerstarwealth.com, and the opinions expressed are mine and Corey's alone. So let me get started. The markets are in the red today by a little. I'm going to say a little bit because when you look at the 5-day chart, so and you can see the headline here: heads for second big weekly gain in a row. So last week it was up. This week it's up. What big thing happened this week is Monday we had a clean transfer of power, immediately followed by executive actions, and of course, could anything truly happen in 5 days? No. I mean, they can't have, changed immigration. They can't have changed everything in 5 days. But what it is it's the optimism that there is change and that there is a plan and there are adults in the room. So what did the markets do in these 5 days? So here you take a look at the S&P 500. You can see as of from Monday to today, you can see it is up. I didn't calculate the exact percentage, but it's up. So that's what we like. It's up. Down a little bit today, a little selling off for profits, but that's fine. New 52-week high. And then I will go to the NASDAQ. And I think we're going to see kind of a similar graph. So 5-day chart on the NASDAQ, same thing. Jumped up, selling off a little bit today, but overall positive. And here, just for kicks, I'll bring up Bitcoin because I think that is in the green right now. Bitcoin, 106,000. We'll look at the 5-day graph, and you can see that one is, that one's actually kind of flat for the week. So, Bitcoin was at 106 when the week started, 107, yeah, right there, and kind of about the same. So, anyways, but of course it's green today. So, but
Like
but what?
with
Go ahead.
Bitcoin, we're seeing a really tight consolidation around those all-time highs. So, whereas throughout December there were quite a few assets taking those 10, 15% dips, and Bitcoin did too. But relative to its volatility, Bitcoin was consolidating really close to those all-time highs
Mhm.
after that November pop, and that's a bullish behavior. But hopefully we can get a catalyst sometime soon,
Yeah.
right?
And I'm going to
To
talk, that'll make me jump into a catalyst. So it was going to be the second thing, but I'll make it the first thing. So a possible catalyst is a plan from the government dealing with crypto. And obviously, some of the concern is like, oh man, the government's going to get involved. That makes me nervous. Okay, me too. But we do want plans, and we do like there are things that the SEC is very good at as far as making sure our investments are solid, making sure they are what they are and they're not a bunch of phony stuff. So as Wall Street, as these plans are rolled out through the government, Wall Street CEOs, let's say outside of the crypto industry, are like, whoa, okay, maybe we will get involved. Now, when Jamie Dimon says he's involved, this thing's going to jump because so far he's been an anti-crypto. But so, as far as, but on Monday and Tuesday, and I don't know which day it was, Trump, brought up crypto and I can't remember the guy's name is, that's somewhere in here. I'm trying to skim through here to find his name. Paul Atkins. So Paul Atkins is chairing the SEC and is positive as opposed to Gensler, who was negative. That is a catalyst. If someone's negative towards something and someone positive comes in, that's a catalyst. Now, how soon does it just immediately jump? No, it takes some time. As Corey said, it consolidates. And that's what you see with things like this. It consolidates for a while. I get people all the time. Did I miss it? Did I miss it? Well, yeah, you missed the jump from 42,000 last year. And then you missed when it consolidated at 70,000 last year. And now it's consolidating around 100, 105, somewhere there. Well, you can get in on that. Now, the next time it goes up, you'll say, did I miss it? So I do get that question a lot. Of course, hindsight's 2020. We all wish we could go back and buy Bitcoin when it was 10 cents or $1 or whatever it was. But, we're investing for the future. So positive plan out of Trump and Paul Atkins. And I'll give you another example of a positive plan. So, Trump didn't change everything this week. It's impossible. But here you go. Here's a reaction. Zuckerberg sets Meta's AI targets, expects to spend $60 billion on growth. When you are confident about the future and you're confident about the business environment you're dealing in, and you're not worried about regulation blowing it all up, you spend money for growth. And I just saw this. When I saw this headline, I said, yes. Besides Zuckerberg's being like, I better get buddy with Trump, since I kind of was anti for a while, I feel like. So here's $1 million for your inauguration. I don't know what he donated, but guess what? These big companies, Meta, NVIDIA, Apple, Amazon, Google, Tesla, they know how to operate in either in any political environment. And they know what they're doing, and they're going to work hard to do it. That's why they're best of breed companies. That's why a Meta is in our core portfolios. And you can see the reaction. So, if I said Corey's going to go out and spend $60 billion, we'd be like, oh, that's a lot of money. I hope Corey knows what he's doing. Look at Meta's stock. It goes up 1.29% and hits a 52-week high today. That's announcing that they are spending money. They are expanding. They are growing. And that's what Wall Street wants. So good news, a great week. Is it going to be this way next week? We have no idea. But we'll just celebrate the good weeks when we have them and see where this whole economy goes. So with that, I'll turn it over to Corey. He'll talk about the dollar.
Yeah, here, let's look at that Canadian vacation first here. So see, you want to go to Canada, there's many beautiful things. And
wait, is it Canada in January? I'm in Ohio and we have snow, and Canada's north of us. So
well, yeah, I can't speak to that. I'm a little further below all of that. But if you were to want to go to Canada right now, your money would be going at least 5% further than it was back at the beginning of October. So you're getting a little more purchasing power, a little discount. So a little Canadian vacation discount, which let's just go look at the dollar here. So the dollar index, obviously, these things are all the same chart, just in reverse of each other. The dollar found a really strong leg of momentum at the very beginning of October. So the dollar index rallied about 10% in those couple of months. The technical analysts out there started signaling that this might be a failed breakout, which is good for us. So, strong dollar, if you think about any of these other countries, right? Your Canada, China, anyone. If the dollar is getting stronger, your home currency doesn't go as far. Now, there is a weird thing where people in other countries who invest in their home currency in United States equities, they don't mind seeing the dollar get stronger. It actually adds to their returns. So, but for trade purposes, if the dollar is getting stronger, those other currencies aren't going as far in trade. So then let's go look at some of these other currencies. So maybe a failed breakout on the dollar right there, right? The euro had approached a key resistance level. The Swiss franc was appearing to be bouncing on resistance as well, in line with this failed breakout in the dollar. The British pound appearing to bounce on resistance. The Swedish krona appearing to bounce at resistance. The Australian dollar appeared to have a false breakdown and pop back up above resistance. And then, of course, in the euro, you're seeing kind of a bullish divergence between price activity and momentum. So all these things were indicating that the dollar would kind of break. So then let's go look. Well, what's it done the past couple of days? We're currently in the mid 107s, and that break level was 108. You can see it was, it tried to hold, now it broke down. So any further weakness in the dollar is going to be a tailwind for United States stocks and equities. So those other currencies will go a little bit further in trade. It encourages more trade, and we'd like to see that. We don't want the dollar too strong as it relates to the stock market. So
it's fascinating because for people that travel, and I can barely remember 20, 25 years ago when I used to travel to Canada, because I was real close to the border there. And back then you would bring your dollars, and then you translate, and you say, oh, you're converting a dollar. Every dollar US was good for $1.30 in Canadian money, and they'd hand it to you. And it was kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then you could, if you brought any money out, you could transfer it back. In today's world, I mean, at least in the last 5 years that I've traveled internationally, I haven't even thought about it, because you just charge it. Everybody takes the Visa, MasterCard, American Express. You just charge it. But if you look at your statement, you can see the conversion rates. Whatever the current conversion rate is, that's one of the benefits of the credit card, is there, and I don't know, who knows, they could be cheating me on the rates. I don't know. I mean, I don't go look it up and say what was the rate that day, because as Corey showed, it changes all the time. But it's kind of done behind the scenes nowadays. And I will say that when I've traveled, everybody takes the American dollar. They trust it. Some of these, we've seen hyperinflation. If any of you remember last year, I showed you I want to say it was a $3 trillion bill from wherever it was, somewhere in Africa. $3 trillion bill that could get you a loaf of bread. So that's why inflation is important as well. So good stuff, Corey. Loonies, toonies, conversions. We picked on Canada enough. I got to ask a question. Corey, you ever been to Canada? Have you ever been there?
No, but I taught a few students who had moved, just recently, and I've known some people who've moved up there. So I've talked the talk, but I've never walked it.
You talked the talk. You seen a goose from Canada. You drank some ginger ale.
I went to Maine.
Maine's pretty close to Canada, so it's all good. I just had to ask, and I will fondly remember. I want to say 5 years ago, maybe 5, 6. I went to Canada for an e-game sports. I wasn't playing. I'm not that good, but my son was watching it, and we wanted to go see the World Championship, and we went. It was in Montreal in February, and I thought to myself, Montreal in February, that is cold, and it was freezing cold with lots of snow. We were not laying on the beach. We were in a hockey arena watching kids play games for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I had a good time. So go Canada, bring in some more e-game sports, and
Mike,
I'll go spend my dollars.
I did have a Canadian student, so we'd go out to recess, play outside here and there, whatever. And he was the only student I ever had where if he told me he didn't need a jacket, I was like, you know what, I trust him. He doesn't need his jacket, and he really never wanted to wear a jacket, and I let him. So, but all those Texas kids, I knew they would try to talk big, but they couldn't back it up. But I'll never forget that.
That's good. Well, thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you all next week. Bye.